Hey everybody, John Huber here from the Maryland Education Network. Talk to you a little bit today about this ongoing bus driver shortage. Thank you for all your comments, kind of a few messages, emails, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I appreciate it. Let's keep the discussion going. Well, you have to be under a rock to not know that there's a major problem with bus driver shortages in the local school systems. Just to give you an idea, the first day of school, 30 city bus drivers called out. PG County's 200 short. Anne Arundel County, as of September 19th, they were 47 buses without drivers on that day, or excuse me, 30 on that day. And now this morning, because there's some Annapolis bus company job action, strike, whatever you want to call it, they're up to 47 buses. Almost 50 buses don't have drivers. Prince Williams County, some neighboring states, Virginia, 100 drivers. Loudoun County, Virginia, 85 plus drivers. Montgomery County here in Maryland, 100 plus drivers. Baltimore County says they're about 10% short, and they normally would have 800, so that about 80, closing in on 100. Apparently, Larry Hogan's chimed in. He's trying to streamline the process in the state of Maryland to get bus drivers certified a little more quickly, and it's just a it's just a real mess. In Massachusetts, they're sending out the National Guard to take kids back and forth to school. So there's no question it's a problem. Everybody's got an opinion on why it is. Behavior of the kids, poor pay, poor working conditions, COVID. They don't want to deal with COVID because a lot of the bus drivers are older. Poor benefits. In some cases, you couldn't get 40 hours even when you did have poor pay. You work a couple hours in the morning, and then you were off till the afternoon. COVID, and then there's the whole COVID thing where they say, well, they don't want to come back to work now. They just sit home and collect $600 a week or whatever it was on unemployment. Now that's ending, but it's causing a problem. There's no doubt there's a problem. Anne Arundel County, kudos to them. They actually came out and admitted there's a problem, and they actually give you the information. But what's interesting about their take on it is their list. They publish a list every morning of the buses that aren't going to run. Not these buses are a little late. They say these buses, no service today. Good luck to you. Includes 80 school routes impacted by the ongoing Annapolis Bus Company driver job action. So what they're saying is, here's all this thing, and this is all impacted because of this Annapolis Bus Company, and we're going to support it. As you probably know, there are both contractors and there are county buses. I can assure you that this problem spans across county buses and things. Now, county buses and contractors. This isn't just a contractor issue, as Anne Arundel County was trying to say. And I can also say that there are a lot of other jurisdictions, Baltimore County in particular. They're trying to hide it. They just kind of say, well, yeah, we're short, it's not a problem, but we're making do. We're doing the best we can. Let me tell you this. Here's my take on it. There's 3 points I want to make. The first point, very quickly, is this shortage has been going on for years. This is nothing new. In the lower income schools with the higher disciplinary issues, they have struggled with people to fill those routes for 10 years. And what happens is as the better schools routes or the better school routes come open, the people in those graduate, it's kind of like the mail service, you bid on the better routes. You want the better routes. You don't want the routes that nobody else wants. So they gradually work their way up. And as a result, the more challenging schools, however you want to define them, I'm trying to insult, and I worked in those challenging schools, and I know, however you want to define them, those challenging schools have been short for years. And now it's just worked its way into the good schools, and now the soccer moms of the world are being inconvenienced, and now there's a problem. So anyone like me who's worked in the lower performing schools, however you want to define it, schools with poverty-stricken areas, schools with that serve areas that are high in crime, schools that have attendance issues, disciplinary issues, those types of schools, wherever they may be, they have been struggling with this for years. Now, there's two other little things that most people don't know about, and this is where I want to tell you. Number one, when you get a chance, go on the internet and look up McKinneyVento Act. I'll see if I can't throw a link for it down there. The McKinneyVento Act. It basically is about homeless children. And what it says, in a nutshell, is that any student who is at any school and is displaced for whatever reason, due to hardship of the family, and they have to move somewhere else, they are required to continue to transport that kid to the original school. So let's say you have a child. Let's say there's a child who lives in, Orchard Beach. I'm just, throwing some. I grew up in Orchard Beach. Let's just say, there's a kid who lives in Orchard Beach, and they go to Sunset Elementary. They love it there. They're having a great time. For whatever reason, the family gets displaced, and they have to move to Glen Burnie, for example. Well, if the kid's in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade or whatever, then they say, well, we got kicked out, we got displaced, my father lost his job or the mom lost a job or whatever. And if they are qualified as homeless, now guess what has to happen? The school board now has to transport that child from Glen Burnie to Sunset Elementary. Oh, yeah. And it's not just, maybe that's just one example, but it happens all over. And as a result, there are buses that are riding all over the place. School buses are going all over the counties. I can tell you firsthand, Baltimore County has school buses that go into the city and pick kids up and bring them back and take them out to the far eastern parts of the city, because that's where the kid originally was. They got displaced. Now they're living over there. Now, as far as McKinneyVento goes, the spirit of the law is in the right place. There's no question. But unfortunately, there are a lot of those who would take advantage of it. Then what happens is, now the word's out on the street to the people that they just tell them you're homeless, right? You live near the city line or near the county line. You go to a county school. You tell them you live there. You get some documents, whatever, and then all of a sudden you come and say, well, now I'm homeless. You show up on the doorstep. You can show up on the doorstep and just say, I'm homeless. I don't have a place to live. And guess what? They have to enroll you, and they have to provide transportation. There's a little more to it. It's a little more involved. Maybe I'll do a whole nother thing on that. But I can tell you that homeless children are transported. Now, when we say homeless, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're, sleeping in a car or in a motel or something like that. It means that they do not have any normal, regular residence. And it's a very tough situation, no doubt. And the spirit of the law, no doubt, is in the right place. But people are taking advantage of it, and now kids are getting humped all over the county. Second thing, and then I'll end with this. When you get a chance, look up magnet school transportation. Go to Baltimore County websites and look up magnet school transportations, and you will see that there are magnet schools, let's say in the Northeast area, say in the Rosedale area, for example. There's a magnet school there, and they have kids transported to that school from all over the eastern part of the county. And the people are pulling their hair out trying to get those kids to those schools. It's crazy. Homeless kids, magnet schools are just making it worse. It's not like it used to be when, you had the lady go into the neighborhood, she picked up the high school kids, took them to the school, came back, picked up the middle school kids, took them, and then came back, picked the elementary school kids up. Doesn't happen that way now. They are humping all over the county, and you see buses riding around. It's got 6 kids in it. It's craziness. And this kind of thing has contributed to the shortage. It's been going on for probably about a decade now, since all these magnet schools came out and since the McKinneyVento Act. I'm not saying magnet schools are a bad thing. I'm not saying McKinneyVento Act is a bad thing. I'm saying that these are the problems. Lastly, behavior of the kids. It's no question. No question. Look, I've seen it firsthand. Some of the garbage that goes on in these school buses are crazy. And in order to remove, all the websites say the same thing. Riding a school bus is a privilege. It's not a right, et cetera, et cetera. You try and take a kid away from riding a school bus one time as an administrator, and you you let me know how that goes. It does happen. But it is very, very rare. I've seen kids throwing things out windows at other, riding down a road on one bus, throwing things out the window at another bus going the other way, and bust the other window out. And, we try and remove them from the bus, and it's like, no, you can't do that. You can suspend them for a couple of days. You can try and get restitution, that kind of thing. I've seen wild brouhaha, wild brouhahas going on, and I've seen a lot of videos of that kind of stuff. Look, it's just a tough situation, and you just can't take them off. And the bus drivers have finally they finally reached a point where they said, "Hey, I'm done. Now's the time where we are in the driver's seat officially." And anyway, that's my take on it. You want to fix it? Here's how you fix it. In my opinion, it's very simple. You need to make kids in magnet schools understand that if you want to be in a magnet school, great. You're going to have to provide your own transportation to the magnet schools. If they did that, I think you would see a huge relief in the bus driver situation. But they keep promising things they can't deliver. Classic government. Second thing is to tighten up on some of the behaviors that they allow in the school buses. Is from the state level, they could get some support and say, look, we're not going to tolerate this kind of garbage on the bus. If it's on video, look, just about every bus has a video. Here's what happened. Here's what you did. We don't allow it. Off the bus, end of story. Find your own transportation. And then the homeless thing, there are these folks who work in schools called PPWs, pupil personnel workers. They need to give the pupil personnel workers more latitude and more authority and more support to track down these people who are playing these address games with these county jurisdictions, the ones that live right on the edge of the line. I'll do a whole nother piece on that. Give them the authority to say, no, we are not sending a bus from Baltimore County, Dundalk area into, Fulton Avenue on the west side of the city to pick up one kid and bring them back to school. We're not going to do that. If you give the PPWs the authority to do that kind of stuff and make it end with the PPW. There's what the problem is now. There's multiple levels of appeal, and then while they appeal, that kid, it remains the same. So that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, just thought you would like to know my take on the bus driver shortage. It's been going on for decades. It's nothing new, and hopefully we'll get it straightened out. And I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a message. Give me some text, or not a text. You can give me a text if you want, if you know me. Give me a message. Like, share what you got to do. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Have a great day.